Welcome to the Thriving Scapegoat, a podcast for women who are cast as the problem, when in truth, they were the truth tellers. I'm your host, Julie Cielo, somatic coach, author, and guide for women healing from complex trauma, family enmeshment, and the invisible wounds of being scapegoated. If you ever felt misunderstood, exiled, or blamed for dynamics you didn't create, if you've done the deep work to break the generational patterns and you're ready to reclaim your voice, your body, and your life, you're in the right place. This is where we stop over-explaining, stop performing for love, and start living in alignment with what's real. Here, we talk about nervous system healing, shadow work, emotional sovereignty, and what it takes to not just survive your past, but thrive beyond it. Because you were never too much. You were never the problem. You were the disruption to the dysfunction, and now you get to become the woman who rises because of it. Let's begin. Welcome back to the Thriving Scapegoat. This episode comes right as summer solstice. And this feels like the perfect conversation to have at this moment of time, because summer isn't just a season. It's a nervous system experience when you really listen, because nature lives inside of us, and summer is about visibility. Summer is about expansion and exposure and aliveness and pleasure and desire. Do you have a vision? And for many women healing from CPTSD or complex trauma, these things don't feel safe always, especially after years of people-pleasing or hypervigilance, self-abandonment and burnout, maybe even taking care of kids or corporate or husband, and now you're on the other side of divorce, and maybe you're dealing with loneliness or survival-driven living. But I think women have survived for so long that they've forgotten how to allow anything beyond safety to come in. And that realization broke my heart a little bit when I first saw it clearly in myself. Because after years of taking care of other people and surviving, building businesses in order to be enough in the world, holding relationships together, trying to help people quit drinking or putting them through detox, emotionally supporting people, financially supporting people, I realized that there was a part of me that no longer wanted to do that anymore. And I had to get back in touch with my own desire, not survival or productivity or obligation, but real, genuine desire. What did I want? Not what looked responsible or looked spiritual or looked a certain way or made everyone else feel comfortable, but what did I want? And that question can feel terrifying for women. I mean, taking my breast implants out last year was a huge thing. Women raised in environments where authenticity creates punishment or shame or abandonment or conflict. You think you're really going to find it easy to be yourself in the world? Many women have learned this early on, but being needed was safer than being expressed. So we become useful and productive in productivity and being emotionally available to other people and just being self-sacrificing, while inside slowly disconnecting from our own aliveness. So when we wake up in midlife, we say, wow, okay, post-corporate, post-divorce, post-estrangement, or maybe your toxic parents finally died, or you closed businesses, or years of just emotionally surviving. It can feel untethering. Who am I now? Like, I no longer knew who I was outside of these survivor roles as the achiever, the caretaker, the resilient one, the founder, the strong one. People wanted me to stay in those roles too. So it made them feel uncomfortable when I became someone different. So there's grief, so much grief. Grief for the years that I abandoned myself for trying to hold it all together, and grief for the relationships that I could not save by myself. Grief for how I disconnected from my own body and how I had become just appearing functional And there were seasons where I felt incredibly alone. Most of my life I felt really, really alone. And not just physically alone, but just existing alone in the world. Nobody could understand me. And I think many women experience this after major awakenings. Post-burnout, post-nervous system collapse. Because once survival identities fall away, there's often a raw period where the nervous system no longer knows who they are or how to even relate to the world without struggle and organizing reality. And this is where many women unconsciously shut down desire. They back away from it. Desire makes us feel vulnerable. To desire is to admit that I want more. I want more. I want more intimacy and beauty and connection and joy and rest and passion. And I want a life that actually feels good in my body. This can be very difficult for a woman to admit or come to terms with. So many women secretly fear wanting too much. Who am I to want more? Especially women that have been conditioned through trauma. But summer solstice asks something profound of us. It asks, can I allow myself to be seen again? Not in a performative way, but honestly, real. Can people handle my realness? And can you let yourself become visible in your own life again? Can you stop shrinking and apologizing and abandoning your body to earn belonging? This is what summer is offering us. Summer energy is inherently expansive, and nature itself is demonstrating this through growth and expansion. Summer doesn't hide its fullness. Look at the flowers fully in bloom and the sun becoming longer. Life becomes expressive. And I think women are meant to live cyclically too. Not in perpetual productivity, no. Not in constant self-optimization, no. But rhythmically. There are seasons for rest, grief, reflection, intensity, and visibility, for reinvention. And I think many midlife awakenings are actually women returning to themselves after decades of just a living according to survival instead of truth. And that return can look messy, can feel really disengaging. Divorce, career shifts, boundary changes, we lose friends, and it can be lonely. We start to question everything, especially if you're a risk taker. But internally, something sacred is happening. The nervous system is reorganizing around your authenticity instead of adaptation. Honor that. That's sacred. And this is where embodiment becomes essential. True embodiment. Because desire isn't intellectual, it's felt in the body through our aliveness. It's physiological. And this is why seasonal somatics and the work that I do, especially in my mentorship program, centers around embodiment so deeply. Because we work with a vision, but it requires us to live more than just our neck up. We need to stop thinking and analyzing and planning and managing and feel more into the body and ask, what is our body starving for? Maybe it's movement, nature, community, pleasure, truth. And I'm not talking just about sexuality when I talk about sensuality. I'm talking about how women deserve reclamation too. Reclamation of their sovereignty, their vitality, the feeling of being fully alive inside of our own experience again. And I think trauma can disconnect us from pleasure, but not just physical pleasure, pleasure in life itself. And when women reconnect to pleasure safely, everything changes. The key word is safely. Because pleasure reconnects us to presence. So I teach it first in their own body before bringing in other people. And presence reconnects us to life itself. And this is why healing can't happen entirely alone. We need real spaces and real embodiment and real community and real nervous system co-regulation. And that's what I'm building through seasonal somatics. I need you. If this resonates with you, I need you. Not just another healing trend, but a living, breathing community of women that can reconnect and serve each other and help each other. To reconnect with their seasonal rhythm in their bodies and their truth and grief and joy and desire and aliveness. The things that are real. And remember, this is not becoming someone else, but finally becoming safe enough to fully inhabit ourselves. And that is what I believe thriving after trauma really is finding the capacity for more. Not more perfection, and not becoming unbothered, and not endless positivity. No. Thriving is when your body no longer experiences your authentic self as dangerous. So men can talk about how, you need to stop healing and start living, but women have different experiences. So I just want you to pause and feel your body and notice your breath. Ask yourself, what part of me is asking to come alive again? Not who should I become? What's already there inside of me, just waiting for permission to emerge? And that question might just change your life. So if this episode resonated with you and you are interested in finding about your own aliveness and what summer can bring to you, I invite you into my Seasonal Somatics online membership that will eventually turn into in-person women's circles and retreats. But this growing community is something that we're creating together, and I need you, especially as we enter summer, the season of visibility and expression, reclaiming the parts of ourselves that survival asked us to bury. This is the Thriving Scapegoat, and this is where surviving slowly becomes living again. Happy summer. Thank you for being here. Your presence is a gift. If today's episode resonated, that's your entry point. Healing scapegoating isn't just insight, it's nervous system work. And this is what I teach through Seasonal Somatics, a body-based method that helps you regulate, reconnect, and move with real change. I offer weekly group classes, both in person and online, immersive retreats, and limited one-on-one mentorship. You can find all the details in the show notes. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs it, and make sure you're subscribed. Until next time, choose truth over belonging, self-trust over self-abandonment. You didn't just survive this to stay stuck. You're here to thrive.